Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you today on a fairly grim Saturday. The morning was clear, and that's when the package was made known to me. I think it was probably delivered yesterday, but my surly houseboy showed it to me this morning. And the morning was fairly clear, overcast, but not rainy. The Bean and I actually got to meet a trio of wonderful dogs. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful dogs, including a long-haired French bulldog, which I've never seen in America before. I was two pit bulls and a long-haired Frenchie, and they were wonderful. Uh, but the day darkened over, and now it's one of those days where every 5 seconds it decides to rain for a little, and then it says, "Ha ha, fooled you," and it stops for like 25 minutes, and then it just not only rains but pours for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then it says, "Ha ha, no, I'm serious. This time I'm done." It's one of those days where there's no possibility of going on a long walk, especially a long walk in countryside, because you'd be trapped in the rain. You'd be miserable by the time you got back. But still, a package did arrive, and it's big. It's a great big box. And I tried to open it, and I failed. So I got scissors, and I tried to cut my way into it, and I failed. Because the person who sent it packed everything in the box, and then took a roll of clear plastic tape and exhausted the whole roll. They didn't cut anything. They just did the whole roll, wrapping the box, every inch of it. And then when that came down to cardboard and the roll was over, they got another roll of clear plastic tape and did the same thing. So the scissors were no good at all. So I got a little frustrated, and I got the hammer from the kitchen and tried just smashing the thing open. And that didn't work. The hammer bounced off it like it was steel. So it was still early in the morning. I was able to call a friend of mine a couple of blocks away who's a locksmith. I said, "I have a job for you." And he said, "What kind of tools am I going to need?" And I said, "Better bring them all." So he did. He brought them all. He didn't bring a blowtorch, because that's kind of a health violation. But he brought everything else. And at the end of an hour, he said, "Well, it beats me. Whatever's in here is safe in here." But between the two of us, we managed to open a crack in the thing. And from there, we were able to use, he had a long cast iron claw hammered crowbar, and we were able to use that with both of us putting our whole weight on one end of it to force the crack open a little bit more. And once the crack was open, we could use not scissors and not a handsaw. He has these gigantic meat cleaving metal pincers, the type that butchers use in industrial settings. And we were able to use those to open up the lid of the box. So unlike any other package I've ever opened on this channel, I'm not going to open this on camera, because it took me paying a professional $120 an hour to get it open. So I didn't look inside it, but the lids are now open. I don't know what I'm going to do with the box. It can't possibly, ordinarily I would take a cardboard box and I would put it in recycling. But if I put it in the recycling bin, it will tip the recycling bin over. And it wouldn't matter anyway, because, the recycling truck that comes along, they fill the rear of the truck, and then they do that hydraulic press to compress everything so they have room for the next street. Well, this thing can't be compressed. It would break the truck to do that. So I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll put it in the backyard and use it as a monument of some kind. But I really appreciate the gift. But I don't actually know what's in here, because I haven't looked into it. So let's see. Baby, are you going to be lurking over my head the whole time? Why don't you come down here? There you go. There you go. So let's see what we have here. Oh, it's quite a bit in here. Okay, we have doggy treats for my little baby Bean, who is right next to me here, as usual. Aren't you pretty? You're so pretty. You're such a good girl. Not happy about the weather at all, but the treats will go a long way. Oh, and okay, then we have Steve treats as well. We have double stuffed Oreos, which is divine. They are two steps away from perfection. They are not mega stuffed Oreos, and they are not most stuffed Oreos, but they are still Oreos. They're still wonderful. Those of you who are new to my channel, I have rather sweet tooth for Oreos. I rather like them. Then what else have we got in here? Oh, I didn't have a copy of this. Oh, fantastic. This is a collection of travel essays by Jan Morris, The World. I recommended this on this channel, but I think I mentioned at the time that I didn't have a copy, and now I do. Oh, this is a keeper. Fantastic. This is all. Jan Morris was a premier travel writing person and wrote a ton of pieces, and this collects them all. Wow. Okay, fantastic. All right, then what else we got here? We've got stuff that's wrapped. These are individually wrapped, like they came from the Brattle. I've never got books in the mail from the Brattle, but a lot of you have. Oh, very nice. Okay, this is a Penguin paperback. Oh, this will replace my hardcover, definitely. This is a Penguin trade paperback of Richard Overy's book, The Bombers and the Bombed, about the Allied war campaign, the bombing campaign in World War II. And this has blurbs from the Christian Science Monitor, Cleveland Plain Dealer. Jonathan Yardley reviewed it for the Times, no, the Washington Post. Kirkus Reviews, Book List, Times had The Economist, the TLS. The TLS says, hard to surpass. If you want to know how bombing worked, what it did, and what it meant, this is the book to read. And I actually, the Penguin trade paperback is fantastic. It's floppy, so I prefer this. Great. All right, fantastic. And then I think there was one other package in here. Oh, okay. All right. Now I do know who this is from, because this is the only thing that we actually discussed. Well, I didn't know I was going to get a bounty of stuff. Wow. This is by Ronald Steele, and it is Walter Lippmann and the American Century. The big fat book about Walter Lippmann that I was complaining about not having ever since I got, where's this thing? This is a new Walter Lippmann biography. It's out this month. It's out in May. I don't know if I have an exact date on it. I've been working with it. I've been reading it and reading about Walter Lippmann and, of course, rereading Walter Lippmann since I got this, basically. But I've been bearing down on it because I'm not 100% sure that David Murphy is going to review this for me. If he's not, then I'm going to. But it's a thin little thing, whereas this is huge, and this did huge business. This was really, really popular. Back when Lippmann was better known, this was really, really popular. And probably comes loaded with blurbs, yes? Jonathan Yardley, again. Well, it just goes to show you, if you're in the business for a long time, your name will be on a lot of books. Saturday Review, back when that was something. Time Magazine, a long excerpt from the New Yorker. And Joseph Lash reviewing it for the Times. Wow, that's funny that Yardley is in here. He's in two of these books separated by decades, always writing for the Post. So The Bombers and the Bombed came out in 2013, and Walter Lippmann and the American Century came out in 1980. so Yardley's been at it a long time. Does this have a huge amount of blurbs in the inside? No, they didn't really do that then, did they? No, not really. But this was hugely read. It was talked about, and Lippmann is fascinating, absolutely fascinating. This book was reminding me of that, but now I'm in the perfect position to reread this. I will reread this tonight. I'm actually kind of tempted to reread this as well. Wonderful. All right, so that turned out to be a bunch of mail. That's wonderful. A bunch of mail and a bunch of treats. So we have The World by Jan Morris. Great. Keeper. We have The Bombers and the Bombed by Richard Overy, one of his greatest books, in a paperback which I much prefer to the hardcover. And Walter Lippmann and the American Century, fantastic. I would actually prefer a hardcover of this thing, since it's the trade paperback here is not very well made. You can see it's not the fault of the sender. It's just this is not a volume that is really meant to take a pounding. It was meant to be on coffee tables and never actually read, whereas I intend to not only read it but annotate it. But I guess the hardcover is hard to come by, so I guess for now it is. I was tripping over it at the Brattle Bookshop when I didn't want it, but now that I do, this will definitely do. Journalist Walter Lippmann was a magisterial figure who relished his role as an insider, an advisor to presidents, a shaper and sometimes purveyor of government policy. Drawing on conversations with Lippmann and exclusive access to his private papers, the author documents the broad flow of Lippmann's career, from his brilliant Harvard days and his role in helping formulate Wilson's 14 points in World War I to his bitter break with Lyndon Johnson over Vietnam. I loved this book when it first came out, and I haven't read it since. So that is fantastic. Great. Okay, well, there you go. That's quite the mail. There's more mail coming, obviously, or maybe not. I've noticed that the mail carriers, even the truck drivers in my neighborhood, really don't like to work when it's raining. They really don't like to work. It's the first thing. I've never been much for creeds. I noticed that they tend not to do it, and I don't have any complaint about that at all. Most of their job, 90% of their job, is delivering junk mail to people who don't look at it. The mail is not important anymore. Email is important. So I understand that they're not going to break their back for it, and I don't want them to. And I also don't have grounds to complain because, at least in my neighborhood, most of the mail carriers, not FedEx, but UPS and the U.S. Mail, the drivers will routinely, do spot checks here and there on their route on a Sunday, especially people that they know and like. So I get packages on Sunday quite often. So that I'm sure it's against their union rules, but I know the drivers, and if they can't get to me on Saturday, they will get, and it's not just me, they'll get to a whole bunch of people on the weekend. So there could still be mail. You never know. Everybody today is dodging playful rain showers. Isn't that nice? Because the rain won't leave. The sun will not come out. So you get 15 minutes where it looks kind of bright, it looks kind of dry. The Bean and I had that this morning. To meet that wonderful trio of dogs. We had that this morning. But who knows how often we'll have it for the rest of the day. Very annoying. Very annoying. But anyway, it's a long weekend here in the United States. Monday is a holiday. Monday commences the traditional seasons of summer. Monday does. So long weekends don't matter much in the United States. Everybody works all the time in the United States for much less money than their parents made, and for no insurance, no retirement benefits, no employment benefits, fewer days off than their parents had, far fewer days off than their grandparents had off. Americans work all the time. So the fact that Monday is a holiday, some people will have the day off. Sure, I'm sure there'll be less traffic on the street. And there won't be any mail delivery. It's a federal holiday, so there won't be any mail delivery. The Brattle isn't open. Federal offices won't be open. But there still could be mail tomorrow. There won't be any on Monday. That I know for sure. But anyway, thank you very much to the sender. I will try to find the address. Before I put this thing in the backyard, it can't work in recycling. The hydraulic press can't handle it. So I'll just put it in the backyard and maybe make a bird feeding station out of it or something like that. The elements certainly won't destroy it. It's technically a cardboard box, but it's in 5 layers of strontium, so it's not like it's vulnerable in any way. But I will find the sender and I will send them a thank you email. But thank you in this video. Thank you so much, not only for the one book you told me about, Walter Lippmann in the American Century. I can't believe I haven't found this. I run over it all the time at the Brattle when I don't want it. Any of you who are at library sales and see a hardcover of this, feel free to snap it up. But not only that, but other books and treats, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So a fine high point to the day. So I'll wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.